Hello and welcome to this quick video about the Star Wars RPG. Just going to correct an error from my last video and just give you a quick idea of creating your own character. So as you can see, there's a nice little intro in the original rulebook, and then it goes straight into creating a character. And what you're meant to do is select from one of the 24 base templates. Now there might have been more templates in the supplements. I haven't re-looked up all of those, so I can't remember exactly how many templates they ended up with in the game. But one of the weird things about the game is just how quickly you can create a character, because you pick your template and then all you simply do is modify it. But it gives you an idea of how to decipher the template. So for example, it says here, if it says 3D, that means you roll 3d6, so you've got a range of 3 to 18. However, if you've got a stat of 2d plus 2, you roll 2d6, so you've got a stat of 2 to 12, but with the plus 2 that gives you a range of 4 to 14. So moving on, let's have a look at an example character. Now you actually get 7 dice to customize your template, but what you can't do is modify the abilities. So your dex, your perception, your knowledge, your strength, your mechanical and your technical are all fixed by the template you choose. However, you've then got 7 dice which you can use to increase any skill by up to 2 dice. So for example, this character has increased its blaster from 3d plus 1 to 5d plus 1. And if you actually look at this, you'll see there's plus 2 here, plus 1 here, plus 2 here, plus 1 here, plus 1 here, for a total of 7 dice. Now these 7 dice can also be used for your force powers if your particular template gives you the ability to use them. And as you can see here, there's the alien student, the failed Jedi, the minor Jedi and the quixotic Jedi, and they are the only force sensitive templates you're going to get. So out of those 7 dice that you've got, as I say, you can choose to allocate them to the force. You also get some starting equipment. So up here on the smuggler, you've got some starting equipment. You also get some background, personality, a quote, and most important of all, your character connections as well. So it does talk about that. If I scroll down here, so you've got relatives, employees, joint ownership of a ship, travelling companions, known by your reputation, etc. And that is pretty much all you need to get going with the game. But chapter 2, which is about page 11, will give you some information about the various tests. So you can have an opposed roll where you both roll dice, whoever gets the highest total wins, or you might have to test against a difficulty number. And there is an example here where Rorak's repulsor lift repair is 2d plus 2 and they need to roll over 10. Bearing in mind the average roll on 2 dice is 7, that means on a 2d plus 2 you're pretty much guaranteed to get a 9, so a difficulty number of 10 is achievable but not guaranteed, although of course you've got a maximum of 14, so you know, you're possibly going to be okay. So can you modify these dice rolls? Well, yes, although unfortunately it can actually be very easy to lose dice. So one option you can do is you can prepare, which will give you an extra dice. However, if you're running or wounded, you're going to lose a dice. But in addition, if you try and do more than one thing in a round, this kind of exhausts you, and so you will lose dice. So for example, if I want to shoot you 3 times, I'm going to lose dice based on the fact that, you know, the second shot and the third shot is exhausting me a bit, and therefore I'm less likely to hit you with that second and third shot. There are also reaction skills, so dodge and parry. They are reaction skills, so you only roll those in reaction to someone doing something. And it then talks a little bit about combat with stance, initiative, shooting and melee, and dodging of course. There are grenades, and then it talks about skill points, and in an adventure you're going to get skill points which you can use to increase your abilities, but the cost of upgrading your skills is based on how many dice it's got. So if you've got 2 dice in a skill, it's going to cost you 2 skill points. If you've got 5 dice, it's going to cost you 5. So the better you get at an ability, or rather a skill, the harder it's going to be to increase that skill. So that's a nice little feature of the game. There is also using the forced, so people who are not force sensitive can use force points, but people who do actually have force powers potentially need to pay attention to the Jedi code. And the force powers are divided into 3 main areas. So control, which is all about controlling your own body, so breathe in, jump in, etc. Sensing, so the feeling and stuff like that. And then alter, which is, you know, your classic telekinesis, force throw type of stuff. And there are various skills that could appear in supplements, and yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, you got your lightsabers as well. Then there's a bit telling you about how to play the game, and there's a little kind of solo module. I think that takes you up to about page 24. Yeah, it does. And then just tying up the game, and that's it. If you're a player, that's all you actually really need to know and read to get going. So 24 pages, of which quite a lot is a solo adventure, and you're good to go. Obviously, if you want to know a bit more about the game, you're going to need to delve into the Game Master section and have a look through all that, but you can also play the game off the charts. So you've got your weapon charts with your damage codes and your ranges, scatters, skill and attribute code modifiers. You've got your healing table and navigation and all that good stuff. Yeah, so various difficulty bits, costs for various items, starship damage, and I think that's it. Yep. And then obviously in the original version of the rules, you could buy yourself a Han Solo decorative plate, and I remember seeing this around quite a lot. And obviously in the FFG reprint, this has been replaced with a Han Solo image from the dice game. So yeah, I mean, that is very quickly an intro into creating a character. Now, if you want to pick various templates, as I say, there's 24 in the base game. So let me just jump down to, let's see, is that, yeah. So you've got like the kid, the gambler, and the failed Jedi. And as you can see, you've got various stats. Now, obviously, it's rotated in the book, so you will have to sort that out. But for example, the failed Jedi gets 2 dice plus 2 in dexterity. However, the gambler gets 3 dice plus 2, so that they're a bit better at the dexterity. But mechanically, again, the gambler's slightly better. So, you know, the failed Jedi in some ways is weaker at a lot of the stats, but that's because they have control and sense, for example, as their Jedi powers. So, you know, that can be pretty powerful, and Jedis can potentially be quite powerful in this game. But obviously, one of the concerns you're going to have as a force sensitive person is, you know, the Emperor and Vader are going to be hunting you down, and Ben and Yoda are in hiding. Luke is only just sort of starting to emerge, and I need to double check when this is set. It's set around the time of the movies, but I can't remember if it's set after Star Wars but before Empire Strikes Back, or after Empire but before Return of the Jedi, or potentially across all 3 films. I can't exactly remember the kind of assumed baseline sort of star date for the game, but there are supplements to allow you to play a little bit about the Old Republic, a little bit in the prequels, in the actual films, or afterwards, like the Thrawn trilogy, and that's something else I could look at in the long run. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to give you a quick look at the game and also correct an error where I talked about using your attribute and your skill in the first video, and that's because I've been reading a lot of vampire role-playing game stuff, and if I remember correctly, you do add the attribute and the skill together in that system. Star Wars, it's different. You use your attribute for all the skills listed under there, unless you've improved that skill, in which case you then use the skill, because obviously it's a better value. So there you go, that is Star Wars and creating a character, and just a quick little overview of that. So hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next video.